gonna say.
Oh, there we are. We're live. We're live. Hello, everybody. I was so busy typing and talking. Can you imagine? I forgot it was time to even go live, but here we are live. So, I think that happened last week too. Kristen needs to stop talking to me right before the event because then I forget about it.
Chatty.
And I'm calling this an event.
It's all my fault.
Everybody who knows us knows that Krista is the chatty one.
Not.
All right, so once again, this is Christina Rue and
Krista Rue
from HLC Bookkeeping and Office Services, and we are doing HLC Saturday Solutions for my office because I have new decorations I'm excited about. And so I'm like, let's just do it for my office.
All right, so we've got God and country.
Yes, we do. Two pillars. Two of our 3 pillars that we got going on here. So, all right. So, what we're talking about today, well, of course, if you don't know, we get together every Saturday at 2 o'clock, and we just do a quick, what we're calling Saturday Solutions. It's the opportunity to share with you things that have come up that we think are worth passing on, or that people have asked us about and we want to share, and or just life in general items that are interesting and fun. So we do it every Saturday at 2 o'clock wherever we are, and Krista is going to recap what we talked about last week before we start this week's. Oh, and in the Facebook comments, we now put what the agenda is, so you'll know what we're talking about. But you won't know what we're talking about off the cuff unless you watch us. So I'm just saying, you might want to be like, even if the topic doesn't interest you, that doesn't mean that we're not going to go off on a tangent. And we're somewhat entertaining, we've been told. So, anyways, here we go. Here's Krista.
All right, so our past topics for last week where we talked about cost of goods sold, subcontractors, and what makes up cost of goods sold and why subcontractors is important to keep track of, which we didn't even mention about the whole W-9s and making sure you're issuing them, what are they, 1099s
throughout the year.
At the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have to keep track of these things, people. So the second thing we had talked about, wait, I have the wrong glasses on. Oh, on our website, we put the little hyperlinks to ACN, which can help you with some of the services we offer. And then also a hyperlink to the ERC, and that's listed as tax rebate specialist, because you should at least see if you qualify. And if you do the hyperlink and put your information in and you qualify, we'll know to put you on our list because it's getting full, people. So you got to get to us quickly. Contact. Friends. Make sure you're saying thank you to your friends, because a lot of times we take friendship for granted. And sometimes they really step up when you really, really need it and take the time to say thank you. And also, it might be a good time to evaluate your friends, because if they're bringing joy, you're keeping them. But if they're a little dragging you down all the time, maybe you just need to have a chat. Okay, because life is too short. You have to have joy every day, wherever you go and however you do.
Absolutely.
All right, so these topics today were talking about expenses.
Yes.
So expenses are what costs your money, where my money is going. And a lot of times people might have office supplies, repairs and maintenance, just general things. It's what it takes, the utilities to keep this business going. But I want to talk about the need to break down expenses, because a lot of times people will have repairs and maintenance and they own 5 buildings.
Yes.
is that really going to help me at the end of the year to determine what I spent per building?
Mm-mm.
So let's talk about why we want your profit and loss to be a snapshot. You look at, you know exactly what your business is doing, where that money is going. So if you have $40,000 in expenses in repairs and maintenance, I want to know a little bit more about that. So maybe we should, if there was a particular piece of equipment that you had to sink money into, but it didn't increase the life, so it didn't make it an asset. It's just a repairs and maintenance to keep it going.
Right, but if you have 20 vehicles, you need to know which vehicles are costing you more that may be worth upgrading versus the one that's you never have to put money in. So, and that can help you too know which products are maybe
better.
Yes. In terms of having to sink money into them after they're paid off. So definitely, if you have multiple vehicles, you definitely want to track the maintenance and repair per vehicle.
Right. And if you have multiple loans, I usually break up the interest payments. Instead of having one huge interest expense, I have interest by loan.
See, I don't do that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, because again, we want it meaningful to you.
Correct.
And that's why it's important that QuickBooks or whatever software you use, you customize to talk to you. Because
I just talked about this yesterday during the training about how important it is. Whatever bookkeeping system you have, if it's not customized to what your needs are, it's just not being used to its full potential. Right. So, like, your books should be talking to you. And if they're not talking to you, then you need to be talking to us so we can make your books talk to you.
That's right.
Whatever you're using, QuickBooks, Peachtree, NetSuite, whatever you're using, I don't care what it is. They should be talking to you. They should be letting you know where you stand at a glance. You shouldn't have to go looking and searching.
Yeah, and here's a good way to tell if you need to break things out. When it's time for budgeting, are you constantly researching? Because if the answer to that is yes, then your books aren't talking to you.
We need to customize. So life is not a surprise and financially.
That's right.
I should do a t-shirt or something. That's funny.
I know. Mm-hmm. It's true because we don't want surprises.
Nope.
We like consistency. We enjoy that. Well,
absolutely.
Yeah. But you can't anticipate everything true. However, you should be able to anticipate the things that happen every month.
And from an expense standpoint, you should know, looked on previous year's data in your budget, what those expenses should be. So if they're out of whack, we need to address that when it's happening, not at the end of the year going, that was really high because I dumped all my utilities together. I didn't realize the electric company was charging me more money, and now it's a huge bill because I didn't break out
so many people
electricity.
Don't break out utilities, and that's a pretty big expense for
exactly.
some people. You need to do that.
Yep.
All right, so that was topic number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And now, next week, we're going to talk about other income, other expenses on the P&L.
Ooh.
And what should be
Those are there. Interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then next week, you want to talk about how we always talk about people should be in business for themselves.
Yes. If you don't have a business, you need to get a business because it just opens you up to different perspectives, different opportunities, different people. I think everybody in the country should have their own business, in the world, really, because you really can then expand your horizons. You can see what else out there. You can add additional income streams. So if you're laid off, God forbid, or something happens, you're not in trouble because you have multiple revenue streams. So I'm always looking for low-cost business opportunities for people who want to be in business but aren't sure what skill set they have, if they're a fit. So, like, this is a time whenever people need to kind of look beyond themselves And if you're tired of being broke, you got to make a change. You got to do something different. You got to increase your revenue streams. So you have to find out what's out there. So like even if you have a main business stream, there is nothing wrong with supplementing your income with other revenue streams. So like I just think everybody in the world should own a business, and we will be glad to talk to you about that. I'm in the office off and on. In the evenings I'm available. If you want to own a business and you just want to talk about that, please get on our schedule, because we just think everybody should own a business. And like we have 2 opportunities that we use. One's free and one's minimal.
That's right.
So it's like,
That's right.
yeah, you can own your own business just like that.
Yeah, and like, well, this might be a good time to say, and we also want to hire an employee.
Oh, yes.
So if you have office skills, bookkeeping skills, please send us a resume, because we are hiring for 10 to 20 hours per week.
To start.
We're growing.
Yeah.
And I need help in that process.
Yeah. And our goal is to make that a full-time position, because part of that will be you going and getting new business, and then we're going to teach you how to do it.
And we pay commission.
Yes, we do.
All right. So, don't be afraid. Look for opportunities around you. Sometimes you just have to look up.
Exactly.
That's all you have to do. Because, like, you have your head to the, what is that? Head to the grindstone, or
I don't know.
Whatever.
You're mixing metaphors.
I don't
I
know.
think. Nose to the grindstone.
No, that's it.
Your head in the clouds, maybe.
Okay,
I don't
yeah,
know
that's-
what you're going for here.
I'm just saying, look around. There's opportunities
Exactly.
everywhere.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
And there's people that you know who might have businesses that they're looking to expand. If you like makeup, look for a Mary Kay rep.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like, have fun with it. If you, there's just tons of stuff out there that you need to have supplemental income, no matter who you are. And it can become a family affair, and wonderful things can happen. So
That's right. That's right. Go in business with your sibling.
oh yeah,
It's a hoot.
it's a hoot and a holler, folks.
90% of the time.
I haven't got fired yet this year, so that's a plus.
But it's coming. All right. So then the next thing we want to talk about is transitions. When transitions happen in the workplace.
Yes.
And these can be just people have found a different opportunity and they're moving on. This could be you hiring someone else. There's one thing I want to specifically talk about. If it was someone in management or a key employee, not in the traditional key employee sense, because like say you run a restaurant and you have a waitress. She's not a manager, but she's a waiter or waitress who's fantastic with the public. And they're moving on because they found a different opportunity. Why not conduct an exit interview so that maybe you can learn some of the skills she showed and pass them on to your other employees who are still there?
Yep.
Or he. And then also, especially if they're a manager, you should be conducting an exit interview. Because this is quite honestly an opportunity for them to be brutally honest. Because they're leaving.
Absolutely.
So you need to find out, what are you doing well?
It can be a great learning experience for you as the business owner, because you might think you're setting a culture of welcome and hope, and when they're like, I hated coming to work. We need to know that as business owners.
But it doesn't become a bitch session.
Correct.
This is to make our place better.
Well,
it's not.
You can allow them to vent, but you have to know if what they're venting is legit or not.
Right.
So just,
right.
But an exit interview is always a great idea.
It's always worthwhile.
Yeah.
And sometimes you discover things that, or even employees that are doing things really well that were sort of flying under the radar. And maybe you want to start paying attention to that.
Absolutely.
So, and then also during transitions, like say an employee gets married. This is a good time for them to say, hey, or you to say, hey, you might want to update your W-4.
Exactly. Or you've just had your taxes done and you owed money because nobody paid attention that the federal withholding was not enough. And again, if you have alternative revenue streams and don't check that box that you have a secondary income, then federal withholding it's not going to be enough
at the end of the year.
And here's another thing. If you know your tax consequence is, say, 10%, if you're getting your gross payroll, right, that month, say, here's my gross payroll. I made $1,000 this week. If that federal withholding is not 10% of that, did you cover? Did you cover federal withholding? No. So if they're only taking out $1, you're not covering your federal withholding. You're going to owe money. So you can, on your W-4 form, if federal withholding isn't taking enough, you can do additional withholdings so you don't have that big bill at the end of the year.
Exactly.
That's right. You can do it per pay.
That's right.
So
these are things to keep in mind because remember, it's your taxes, people. It's not up to your employer to babysit you. You're an adult.
That's right. So keep an eye out. Make sure that you are being withheld enough so that there's no big surprises.
Make sure you're making those
estimated tax payments
quarterly because again, we don't want surprises at the end of the year.
No. Hey, look, we did it again. We're going to have to say instead of 10 to 15 minutes is 15 to 20. Because we just can't seem to keep ourselves under 15 anymore.
All right, we got to be more focused now.
Yes.
So, those were our 3 topics.
Yep.
So, again, our contact info, HLC Bookkeeping and Office Services. Phone number, 724-561-7460.
HLCbookkeeping.com is the website.
Right. And you can email us at office@yourhlc.com.
Yep, you can private message us if you're interested or you know somebody who might want to expand their horizons and become a business owner, or if you're looking for part-time employment and you could come in. On what days do you want them? Thursdays and Fridays?
Thursdays and Fridays.
If possible to come on in, then we'll be glad to talk to you. But I hope everybody.
And I know some of my clients are hiring too.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a job, send your resume.
Exactly. So we definitely want you to have a wonderful weekend. Hope you're enjoying everything. Even though it's a little cloudy today. How about you be the sunshine? How about that, right?
Sunshine.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful day and you have a great week ahead.
That's right.
Bye-bye.